Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Matt. I am your host, Matt Taylor. Today I'm going to show you how to make yummy homemade cornbread from scratch. Super easy to do. I love cornbread. If I can do it, you can do it. Before I move on, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Let's get baking. Down below in the description box you'll find a list of the ingredients and their amounts, as well as a link to the written recipe on my website. Now, begin by preheating the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 Celsius. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix up these wet ingredients here, and I'm going to add in 1 large egg, and this is 1 cup of cold milk. And you can use, if you're dairy free, you can use like almond milk. And now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of oil. You can use vegetable oil, canola oil, coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil. Or you can just use all butter. I also have 1/4 cup of butter. So you can use 1/2 cup of butter, or also if you don't eat butter because you're dairy free, then use 1/2 cup of oil, if that makes sense. I'm just going to melt this. You can do it on the stovetop or in the microwave. I'm just going to put it in the microwave for 20-30 seconds until it's melted. Okay, I'm going to push down the egg yolk and just give us a whisk and just pour in this butter. Awesome. Also at this time I'm going to add my sugar. I have 1/3 cup of sugar here. White granulated sugar. You could also use brown sugar. And you can reduce the sugar if you want, or if you like your cornbread even sweeter, then you can add a little bit more sugar. I encourage you to make it like this first, and then adjust the next time you make it. You could also like reduce the sugar to like 1/4 cup, or even like a couple tablespoons of sugar, then also use some honey instead. A lot of things that you can do for the sweetness. Fantastic. And I'm just going to set this aside for 1 second, and then we'll mix the dry ingredients. I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and then the star of the dish, the cornmeal, 1 cup of cornmeal. Now, cornmeal is readily available here in the United States. If you live in a country where it's hard to buy it or find it, you can grind up field corn, or you can like dried field corn, you can grind that up in like a food processor, and that will make a cornmeal for you. Or you can also use popcorn kernels, which is pretty cool. I have a video here on my channel that shows you how to make cornmeal from popcorn kernels. However, true cornmeal is not made from popcorn kernels, but it works as a great substitute, okay? And then let's add in 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon of salt, no more than that. And then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And now we will just whisk these together. Fantastic. Let's come on over back to our main bowl here, and then I'm just going to dump all this in. And we will whisk this up. And there you go. And the consistency should be pretty runny like this. And now I have an 8x8 inch pan here, and I greased it with cooking spray, and then I put down some parchment paper, but the parchment paper isn't necessary. Cornbread doesn't stick as much to the pan as like a cake does. But I like it just because it's really easy when you're done to just pull up the parchment paper out of there and just cut it into squares, as opposed to trying to cut it inside the pan. But I do it both ways regularly. Let's just pour that in there. And then with the spatula, we will just scrape that all out and get that in there. And I love cornbread so much. It's one of my favorite quick breads to make and eat. I like eating it plain, like putting butter and honey on it and jam and jelly. I like eating it with like stew and soups during the colder months. It's just a very versatile, yummy, hearty quick bread. And now into the oven it goes. Again, 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 Celsius. I'm going to bake it for 20 to 25 minutes. It's going to get nice and golden brown, brown on the edges, and then when you poke it with a toothpick, the toothpick should come out clean. On to that step. And when it comes out of the oven, it'll look something like this, nice and kind of golden on the top, and then on the edges will be nice and golden brown. And then again, one of the reasons why I like the parchment paper is after you let it cool for about 10-15 minutes, you can just pick it right up and easily take it out like this. Awesome. So you can see right here on the edges how the edges are going to be more brown, which is very common. And then I'm going to put this on the cutting board. And then it just makes it really easy since it's not in the pan to cut. Just cut it into squares. Whatever size that you want. I'm making these a little bit smaller. So if you make them smaller like this, it'll give you 16 servings, or you can just do 3 cuts across an angle, and then it'll be 9, okay? Well, there you go. Super easy homemade cornbread. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm Matt Taylor. This has been another episode of In the Kitchen with Matt. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or requests, put them down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thumbs up, down the corner, push it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Take care. Time for me to dive into this. So yeah, look at that. See how it looks right there? Mmm.